With her can-do attitude, love of simple gardens and decades of experience, Charlie Dimmock is one of Britain's best-loved gardeners.
Looking good, boys.
But the new kids on the gardening block are the Rich brothers.
We want to be the brothers that change people's perceptions of gardens.
Winners of multiple medals at the Chelsea Flower Show.
Oh, wow. Good turn. It's amazing, isn't it?
The boys have become known for their dramatic outdoor spaces. Now, these two different generations of gardening are going head-to-head.
I know they've got a gold medal, but I can come up with a few ideas.
They're meeting frustrated garden owners across the country.
Not a lot going on, is there? Not a lot.
I don't know what to do with it.
And will each pitch them a design based on their needs and budget.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Doesn't look like it could be our garden.
The winner brings their design to life.
Hold on.
Sweet as enough.
And the loser has to help them build it.
Keep working, boy.
Whoa, easy.
This is what happens
Just get on with it. Sometime today would be good.
when different styles collide
I think your brother's throwing the toys out of his pram. Right, we're doing this.
to turn garden dreams into reality.
Open your eyes.
Oh, it's lovely.
Wow.
Look at that.
It's not our garden.
It's time for Charlie and the Rich brothers to find out today's garden challenge.
This is right up your street, boys, I tell you. Richard and Fleur, daughter Jasmine, they want a party garden.
That does sound right up our street. All the parties that we have there.
You know it so well, Charlie.
And no pressure, but Fleur is an interior designer, so she'll know her way around a design scheme.
Quite looking forward to seeing what her house looks like now.
When Fleur and Richard, along with their 16-year-old daughter Jasmine, moved into their home in Berkshire a year ago, they were determined to transform its tired decor and have created their perfect home.
It's been a very busy year doing the house, which I really enjoyed doing. We've increased the size and making it more open plan.
We've spent 6 months where we've had no roof and we've had dust everywhere and things like that. We want to just kick back, sit in the garden, glass of wine and just look at
and have some great parties and enjoy what we've done, yes.
Yeah.
The couple have spent thousands transforming their house into a chic space worthy of an interiors magazine. Now they want a garden to match.
We want to be able to pull the doors back and maybe walk out to something which is, well, hopefully be spectacular.
The only trouble is right now the garden is more ow than wow.
It's a wow factor that's missing from our garden. It's just grass with a bit of sand and rubble at the top.
Richard recycled the rubble generated by the house renovations and used it as hardcore for the patio he intended to build. But then he ran out of steam.
Looks like they've started, really.
Yeah.
They've sort of built this up.
It looks like it needs a little bit more done to it.
Yeah.
To become that party garden.
Yeah.
When it comes to interiors, this couple know their stuff. But the garden is a different story.
We don't know what to do with the planting, so it's a very difficult one to try and visualise when we can see straight lines and stuff like that, but when it comes to planting, we're clueless.
So not only are they turning to Charlie and the Rich brothers for help, they're prepared to spend to get what they want.
We've got £4,000 left for the budget for the garden. We think that will give us enough to transform the garden to what we want it to be.
OK, it doesn't sound too bad, does it?
It's quite a big garden and it looks like there needs to be quite a lot of work done to it.
A lot of hard landscaping there, that looks like, which makes the budget disappear.
Well, I think £4,000 will be enough to get the party started.
Yeah.
£4,000 is a tidy sum even for a garden this size. But when it comes to the party theme, Fleur's not thinking party poppers and the hokey cokey. Her sights are set much higher than that.
My lovely idea would be for the garden to have the Ibiza theme where it's very chilled, it's very white, so you can just go out there and enjoy the garden and just sit with your friends listening to great music.
This makes this garden an even bigger challenge for the designers. The more palatial villas in Ibiza are known for their elegant gardens. Featuring whitewashed walls and minimalist planting, they seamlessly link the outdoor with the indoor, making them the perfect place for after-party get-togethers. But they can cost tens of thousands. So turning Fleur and Richard's tired plot into a piece of Balearic paradise could eat up their £4,000 budget in no time. But Charlie and the Rich brothers love a challenge, so they're heading to Wokingham to get a first-hand look at what they're dealing with. They'll both be competing for the contract, so are on the hunt for anything that gives them an edge. And one thing they want to get a closer look at is the sad, abandoned patio area.
At least some of the structure's already done. We know that they probably want to put some sort of seating here.
Right, should we go on down the garden?
Explore.
It looks like Fleur and Richard have already had a go at creating an outdoor party pad.
Now, I like this. A seating area like this is great. Everyone goes, oh, I want to sit in the sun till it's boiling hot, and everyone wants to sit in the shade.
Yeah, and I think it's nice backing onto something as well, isn't it? That intimacy.
Yeah, quite a few containers as well.
There's a lot of garden to fill for £4,000, especially if the couple want top-spec materials. So the boys want to see what Fleur has done with the house. If they want something similar in the garden, it could be very expensive.
Oh, it's very white in here, isn't it?
It is, very minimal.
Yeah, I think what I quite like about it is it's an open plan room, but it's got those individual zones.
Yeah.
And each area is quite well considered and well laid out.
Yeah, it's all one, but they're definitely divided. It's nice.
Outside, Charlie is trying to manage the couple's expectations.
Now, £4,000 is quite a lot of money, but the garden is big, so you wouldn't be able to do the whole garden for that.
No.
Are there certain areas that you want to stick to?
We'd love to concentrate on the area just outside the doors because that's the sort of the main entertaining area, so that's where we'd like to do.
It's a great view into the garden, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And I think when you've got a view like this, the key is really going to be reflecting the interior in the garden.
Yeah, and by picking up the colour or details or textures,
Yeah.
then you do extend this space outside.
Yeah. And I think these slabs are crucial, aren't
Yeah.
they? The minimal white look, so we need to draw that out into the garden, otherwise you can have too much of a contrast, aren't you?
Yeah.
And what sort of plants are you looking for?
We love contemporary plants, so sort of spiky, that type of thing. We'd love a herb area, so we can grow mint for the mojitos.
Oh, OK. So you're really going down the party route.
This garden is shaping up to be a real test. Fleur and Richard want the Ibiza-inspired wow factor they've achieved in their house, but this is a big garden to fill, even for £4,000. So, Charlie and the Rich brothers get straight to work. Each of them will come up with a design that matches Fleur and Richard's style and their budget. Their £4,000 will be used to cover the cost of the materials for their new garden, while the labour will be supplied by Charlie, the Rich brothers and their team of landscapers. Once they've presented their designs, the couple will then have to choose a winner, and whoever loses will help the winner to build the garden. It's time for the big pitch. Charlie's tried to convince the couple to focus their budget on one area of the garden, but will that leave her design looking a bit bare? While the boys have been inspired by the design of the house, but does that mean they'll go all out and blow the budget?
Right. So here's our design.
Going with your party theme, I'm trying to give you party but relaxed party where you'll feel that you are in a Mediterranean type of area. The patio area, I want to keep it nice and sleek, light slabs, very uniform, and then out in front of this section here we've got some decking. To get on and off of the deck area I've got a boardwalk and I've got it going over a dry riverbed. So it's not water, but it will look like it with the planting and using a reflective surface.
Yeah.
Charlie has set the bar high, a contemporary patio and a boardwalk that gives off that holiday vibe. How will the boys respond?
We really wanted the garden to reflect the interior of your home. So it's really stylish, it's all quite well thought out.
What we wanted to do is create these individual spaces that have their own unique character. So you've got these paths that open up into these lovely big open areas with the large terrace here.
What's the patio made of? Is it just...
It would be a natural stone, but just minimal light. Try and keep that rhythm from the house and the garden.
Brilliant.
So both designers have embraced the party theme and gone for a contemporary, sleek, minimal patio to match the interior of the house. But to create that Ibiza garden look, the planting will be key.
I want to give you the wow factor with big, bold, in-your-face type of plants. So we're talking bananas, palms, cordylines, big, bold foliage. So it gives you a bit of height around the patio area.
So with the planting, we wanted to give these lovely linear beds of rosemary. They give that good bit of structure throughout the year, lovely scent as well, because I think that's really important to kind of act on all the senses. And then the large planting beds of grasses and just a selection of perennials that come out throughout the year. But again, it just draws on that idea that it's that Mediterranean style, it's quite minimal, quite arid.
The boys are going for it. They think they can transform the whole garden for the money. While Charlie is focusing on 2 separate seating areas and spending the budget on big architectural plants.
I wanted to create another area to the garden down this end. So I've done staggered panels and then we plant through with evergreens. This would be an area to sit in the shade. You know, if you've got lots of people here, sometimes you don't all want to sit together.
No.
Both designs are going down well, but the boys have come up with one last Ibiza-inspired touch that they hope will swing the decision.
One element within the design are these white walls here. These walls not only create the structure and separate the individual rooms, but they also allow you to kind of perch lamps on top. So in the evenings, you can have them lit up and it just creates that perspective that runs down the garden and allows your garden to feel larger.
Lovely.
But not to be outdone, Charlie saved her own pièce de résistance till last, an elegant water feature with a twist.
I've just gone for a stainless steel, brushed stainless steel water blade that you then plant up the top with herbs. So I'm thinking of your mint, but maybe thyme, or you could just have lots of different types of mint, Moroccan mint, apple mint, chocolate mint, the whole lot.
Charlie's remembered the couple's fondness for a refreshing cocktail, but will it prove decisive?
Lovely, thank you.
With the pitch over, it's now down to Richard and Fleur.
They're both really good. It's a really hard decision to make.
I love the fact that it's really linear, the really contemporary look.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that it's got the 2 different textures here.
Feeling confident?
They got a sort of bit of glee when I mentioned the water feature and the dry river.
Oh, hands up, we didn't have a water feature. That might sway it.
Yeah.
I like the way it uses the whole garden and goes through.
This is a really nice detail.
Yeah, it is.
But we did nail the Ibiza theme though, I feel.
Yeah.
A little bit more minimal than just kind of crazy party garden, but I think we had that nice little balance between interior, exterior.
We'll wait and
Atmosphere is a
see,
long
won't
way.
we? Wait and see.
The couple can only pick one design. So, will they be swayed by the Rich brothers' expansive schemes of white walls, garden rooms and sleek minimal touches? Or will they go for Charlie's 2 rooms, featuring bold planting, a water feature and an enticing boardwalk? It's decision time.
Here they come.
Oh. Hello.
Hi. That was really difficult. You've both captured what we wanted and we loved both of them, so thank you for that. But we have decided to go with Charlie's.
Yeah, well done.
The reason we chose this is because we think looking out from the patio doors, the foreground here is going to be, you know, nicer to look at here.
I've spent all the money on a very small area.
We like that.
So Ibiza, here we come.
Yeah.
Mojitos all round.
Yes.
So, putting all the wow factor up front has won it for Charlie. But she has promised Fleur and Richard statement planting, a huge patio, decking area and boardwalk, plus a water feature. To pull all this off for £4,000, she is really going to need the boys' help. It's day one of the build in Wokingham, and while Charlie's away fine-tuning her Ibiza party garden design, she's instructed her trusty team of landscapers, Alan, Mark and Scott, to get cracking, under the watchful eye of Kate, the project manager.
So that comes out a metre. So we come out a metre, then we come out 2 metres.
Central to Charlie's design is the large entertaining space that flows out from the house. She decided to divide the area into 2 zones, using decking for one area and tiles for the other. But straight away, Kate has noticed an issue with the decking boards she's ordered. Time to call the boss for a quick chat.
Hi Charlie, it's Kate here. We're just putting the deck in. And I know on your lovely design you had it coming slightly further out from the extension, but all the lengths are 4x8, which coincidentally is the exact same length as the extension. Would you mind if we kept it flush? Is that okay? Lovely, because that... Oh, brilliant. That'll save a lot of time as well. Thanks, Charlie. I'll see you later. Bye.
Not having to cut the boards will speed up work and create a neater finish. It's definitely worth sacrificing a few inches of deck for a cleaner look. Running flush to the deck, and to echo the couple's minimalist interior, Charlie's chosen large 60 by 90 tiles butted right up against each other for a sleek contemporary look. Altogether, this area of hard landscaping will be a whopping 45 square metres. If you're going to include a lot of hard landscaping in your garden, the trick is to avoid too much of one material. Otherwise, you'll end up with a car park, not a patio. Using varying sized slabs breaks up the lines of the patio so it doesn't look too blocky. By spacing the slabs out, gaps can be filled with sand and pebbles for a more natural or rustic look. These can also be interplanted with herbs such as thyme to give it that cottagey feel. Different paving choices work with different gardens. Brick adds rustic charm to a traditional garden, while slate and sandstone give a sleek finish to contemporary spaces. In the garden in Wokingham, using a material to connect the inside with the outside will encourage guests to explore the new garden when it's party time. With the hard landscaping well underway, Boss Charlie is eager to take command and is keen to set the boys to work.
Here we go then.
Yes. Well, how are you feeling? Because this garden is going to be all about that front view, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know it looks like it's already prepped and done, but in actual fact we've got all the slabs, do the decking, preferably keeping them at the same level because I want it to look nice and sleek. But then I've got the planters on there as well, and then there's the boardwalk.
Water feature?
Water feature and a dry riverbed.
Oh, crikey.
And then you guys are doing the screening at the back of the
That kind of
garden.
staggered.
Yeah, so it's all sleek, modern, textures.
Poor Charlie's talking about me and you then, Dave.
It's sleek and modern, yeah. Don't hold your breath there, boys.
While the boys head down the garden to make a start on the screening, Charlie's first priority is to check out her water feature, which has just arrived.
So the great thing about this is it's a kit. So it all comes prepared with the hose built in, so it's a really clean, sleek look. So that's our submersible pump that will sit down in here and Just attach the hose to it like that. And it's got built-in lights. There's going to be bright white lights across there, picking up the Ibiza chillax mode of sort of...
Swap.
At the bottom of the garden, the boys have finished digging the holes for the fence posts.
What we're looking for?
2 foot.
Perfect.
That.
Nice, there we are. Time to get on the posts.
Yes.
Charlie has designed some bespoke fencing screens to create privacy at this end of the garden. Each screen will be offset slightly to create depth and add a 3-dimensional element. They'll later be interplanted with evergreens to break up the hard lines of the timber. With the posts in the ground, Harry and David fill the holes with the post-mix concrete,
Last bit. Waste not, want not.
which sets fast, so they need to make sure they are straight.
The Rich brothers do it again. The temptation with boundaries is just to buy a fence pan off the shelf. But with this one, it's bespoke. You know, it links in with the rest of the design, so it's going to really complement it. And it comes in about half the price. So for a length of fencing like this, you're looking at about £100. This is coming in at £40. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Back down the other end, Charlie is making a start on digging out the planting beds that will eventually flank the boardwalk, and Fleur is making sure the workers are sufficiently lubricated.
How's it going?
We're sort of getting there. You can start to see some of the structure now.
Yeah.
But I have a request.
Okay.
You have lots of lovely things in containers.
Yes.
Which pick up the Ibiza theme being white.
Yes.
You know, you've got bamboos, cordyline, and I did notice you've got lots and lots of olives.
Yes.
Now, although they do look lovely in containers, what happens is after a couple of years, if you don't keep up feeding them and watering them properly, they start to weaken and look a bit sickly. So I'm wondering if we can plant them out to give you an olive grove,
Yes.
which once they're in the ground, they've got unlimited nutrients, unlimited moisture, so they reach their full potential and will look fantastic.
I'd love that.
Yeah?
I really would, yes. I mean, I buy them because I think they look pretty, but I don't know how to look after them. So it's great.
Now it's getting to the time of day that we want you and Richard to trundle away.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, no problem at all.
You won't be
That's fine.
twitching, going, oh, what are
No,
they doing?
no.
Are they getting no?
We trust you.
Oh, okay.
I love what we've seen so far, so
Okay.
that's lovely.
Oh, that's a good thing then. Right, well,
Thank you. Okay.
off you go.
See you
I'll let
later.
you finish your coffee first, though.
Thank you.
While the brothers wait for the concrete to set around the fence posts, they're cracking on with the decking. And it looks like the boss's design is growing on them.
It's nice having the 2 separate materials, isn't it, in this area?
Yeah, because that's quite a large space, isn't it? So definitely having the modern, sleek slab there kind of really complements the inside. Whereas what Charlie's done here, having the wood, it's a lot more natural, a lot more kind of warming. And I think definitely playing off the architecture of the building, it has this cosy feeling. So once the seating's in there, I think it's going to create this beautiful space to sit.
Oh, it does. I think that's probably where I'd find myself to be.
To add a Balearic touch between the deck and the patio, Charlie's including a strip of different sized pebbles.
You've got the small stuff, the big stuff, and the medium stuff. And that's quite nice, isn't it? Again, I think she's all about textures here.
It's all about textures.
All about textures. By using 3 different materials, we've got that modern, contemporary kind of dance floor feeling, we've got that warm, textured seating space, and then we've got this kind of natural, very much Ibiza-style gravel in the middle.
This garden has one purpose and one purpose only: to be an inviting, entertaining space for Fleur and Richard's big social get-togethers. At the Roof Gardens in Kensington in London, the head gardeners have been doing just that since the gardens were opened in 1938, for the purpose of entertaining weary shoppers at Derry's and Tom's department store. Today, the purpose of the garden is broadly the same: to provide a relaxing retreat for city dwellers, and it falls to head gardener Pilar Medrano Dell to create the perfect setting.
To create entertaining spaces in the garden, it's essential to create maybe some intimate areas where people can gather and you're having a cocktail or a glass of wine and then move on to another area and kind of hop around a little bit. We want people to come and feel relaxed here and feel they can have fun also.
The addition of statement plants and unusual architecture around the space add a wow factor to the gardens.
I think it's important to create focal points in the garden where people are going to be able to talk about what's happening around them. For example, we've created a living wall with herbs. You can touch them, you can look at them, you can try them, and of course, we've got flamingos.
We may be 6 floors above a busy London street, but flamingos have been part of the roof garden since the 1950s. Current residents are Bill and Ben and Splosh and Pex. Different themes within a garden are also essential for setting the tone of the space. And at the roof gardens, they have a Spanish garden, a Tudor garden, and an English woodland garden, each with its own unique character and atmosphere.
In the Spanish garden, we have a lot of hot colours. It's very vibrant, it's colourful, there's lots of light. You get a sense of fun, and that's the kind of atmosphere that we want to bring to this garden. And then you walk through a Tudor walkway with a more formal atmosphere, which makes it a little bit more elegant. And the English woodland garden, because there's water, it's a little bit more relaxing. People look at the ducks. That's why we have these different areas where we create 3 different atmospheres.
Back in Wokingham, setting the right tone for Fleur and Richard's party garden is all important, which is why Charlie is bringing out the bling.
Keeping that Ibiza theme going, there's going to be another project for you guys.
Lay it on us.
So this is going to be a raised bed here,
Yeah.
but it's going to be made from brushed sort of stainless steel.
Nice.
Okay, so that gives that blingy type effect, and it'll pick up the water feature.
Okay.
So a nice, sleek, neat finish to this, and then cap it off with some timber.
You can trust us, Charlie.
Yeah, right then. Spit spot.
Chop, chop.
The boys' list of jobs is mounting, and they still need to complete the fencing screens at the end of the garden.
We've pre-painted these boards in grey, and we've got a dark one at the back and a light one at the front. And this really gives kind of depth and texture to this fence.
We're using this in horizontal fashion, but you don't have to do that. There's many different ways. You could have it upright, so vertical. I mean, you could do it more of like a kind of dog tooth or a herringbone. That would be quite a traditional way. But basically, there's no real limits, and especially the colours, you know, you could do that to fit your theme in the house or any different style that you like. There we are.
Done.
1 in.
3 to go.
3 to go.
Let's crack on.
The big, bold planting design close to the house really swung it for Charlie when Richard and Fleur were deciding which design to choose. So she wants to make sure the plants live up to their expectations.
Well, this is great. The plants have arrived, and we've got some really fantastic ones for around the patio. Architectural plants are plants that have got that big, bold wow factor, and you notice them straight away in a garden. So they've got very simple leaves, so we've got big banana leaves, or spiky, or they've got a good structure to them, so they're sort of right in your face and you see them straight away. Other plants we've got, this is our underplanting, which will frame our dramatic architectural plants, and I'm going for a contemporary feel, so there's not much variety, but they're very different in style. So we've got a very loose shape. Again, we've got the structure of the fern leaf, and then we've got the black turf lily, which will really pull out the Ibiza feel against the white slabs.
Back in the garden, the landscapers are racing ahead with the decking, while the boys are making a start on the raised planters. With the paving nearly complete, Charlie can get to grips with the water feature in the corner of the patio.
That's definitely not level. It's tipping backwards. Too many mojitos it's had. That looks all right to me.
Now that the patio is fixed, the landscapers have a straight edge to build the boardwalk off. In her design, Charlie has used this boardwalk as a way to link the modern patio area with the rest of the garden. And by having it snake out through the planting, it also creates intrigue, enticing visitors to explore.
You can see the boardwalk is starting to take shape now. My idea is that the boardwalk helps you sort of float over the plants and look down on them. I want to try and evoke those memories of Richard and Fleur's holidays in Ibiza, where I'm sure they must have walked on many boardwalks to get down to the beach.
With the timber cut to size, the boys are ready to start assembling the stainless steel-clad planter for up on the patio.
There we are. Charlie, where do you want your coffee table?
Is that my planter, is it?
It is.
It's the beginning of it.
Wow, smart. Very good. Well done.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I have to say, so the metal's gonna...
Yeah.
There we are.
You're gonna bring that up
My
and-
lovely assistant will show us now.
Go on, give us a tune.
The idea is to have that tacked
That's
down.
it, right, cool.
And then we're gonna...
Take that round. Fabulous.
Right, we'll bend it round and then show you.
Yeah.
Right, if we line this up at the top.
And the planters aren't the only use Charlie has for these large steel sheets. They make the ideal base for a fake water feature.
This is going to be the ultimate low maintenance water feature, i.e. there's no water in it at all. That just gives the impression of water, and then we're going to dress round with cobbles and plants overhanging, so it'll look like a riverbed with a little trickle of water just sort of sitting in the bottom.
Now we've tacked it in, so it's holding firm. What we're going to do is we're going to bend it round this upright, nice and tight, and then it should end flush with this upright here. And then we'll tack it in.
Right,
I'll go around here and hold it. You can do the bending. Oh, look at that.
With the base of the dry river in place, Charlie wastes no time in getting the structural plants into the garden.
I'm placing all the big plants first. What I'm trying to do is obscure the view of the whole garden from the kitchen, and this will become a room on its own. Then we're going to have the boardwalk that will bring you out onto another vista.
By dividing the garden into different rooms, Charlie's hoping to separate intimate spaces within the whole design. But the concept of dividing a garden into a succession of rooms with different purposes is nothing new. Some of the most famous historic gardens in Britain, such as Sissinghurst Castle Gardens in Kent, were built around this principle. Modern gardens, such as this one in Essex designed by Patricia Cox, put their own spin on the theme. This contemporary space brings the inside out and extends the living space into the garden, with a dining room enclosed by low box hedging and an outside lounge tucked behind a cosy stone wall and fireplace. It's this design look that Charlie is hoping to achieve in Fleur and Richard's garden in Wokingham, extending the living space out from the house and then subtly screening it with plants to retain privacy.
So This is a black bamboo. We will probably clear the lower bit to show off the stems a bit more. In actual fact, just here, I don't mind if this really clumps up because I'm trying to create a wall of foliage along this bit of the boardwalk. Roll your olive into place, then try and get it out the pot. Come on, little olive. You know you want to. There we go. Sort of in the middle of the middle, yeah?
Right.
Ooh, look at you boys.
I know, check this out. Right, soften it down.
Look at that.
Right, we'll have to give it a little... Here we are. So this is Charlie's 4th texture going in the garden, the galvanised steel. Works really nicely with the water feature that she's got there. And I think it's just one of those things in the garden, it's another bespoke thing. We've got bespoke fencing, we've got bespoke planters, bespoke boardwalk, so it's a really special garden.
Well, it needs some banana trees now.
I know, too
They're
bad.
just there.
Nice.
3 bananas.
Love it. It's going to look really cool.
2 monkeys.
While bananas are tender plants, there are some hardy varieties like Musa Banjou that can survive outside over the winter in milder parts of the UK. However, it's still recommended to wrap them in hessian or fleece during the colder months, especially when they are first planted. To extend the feel of the patio area into the garden, Charlie weaves the sheets of steel through the architectural plants and adds light-coloured pebbles and bright white cobbles to create the feel of a riverbed.
So do you see the effect? It looks like water, doesn't it, really? Gives a bit of reflection, and once you get a few plants around it, it just softens it, and a few cobbles, and we're there.
Before the makeover, Fleur and Richard's garden was a hodgepodge of half-started projects and outdated elements. It wasn't a great garden for entertaining, and it definitely lacked that wow factor. Now it's had a £4,000 makeover, and Charlie and the Rich brothers have gone all out to give the couple as much bang for their buck as possible. Charlie spent £340 on the simple yet stylish self-contained water feature with a herb planter and LED lights to really give the garden that party vibe. And the bespoke stainless steel planter that gives the raised garden bed some matching bling only cost £120 to build. While the boardwalk and dry riverbed that evoke holiday memories and trips to the beach were constructed for just under £450. The plants were key to making a big statement with this garden and cost £700, including the 3 banana trees, which give the garden that extra wow factor and cost only £25 each. And the all-important smooth finish Indian sandstone paving that seamlessly connects the interior and exterior of the house. To give the garden that classic contemporary feel, cost just under £1,000. Fleur and Richard wanted a spectacular garden that would wow their friends and entertain their guests, whilst bringing some Balearic cool to Wokingham. It's time to find out if Charlie has delivered.
open your eyes.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Absolutely
wow,
brilliant.
Does it say Ibiza?
It really
It's absolutely
does.
fantastic.
Oh, I am so pleased.
I love the banana plant.
Good, it's all about the banana plants.
They love the bananas.
Look at them. I think, wow, do you know what I mean? They've got lovely leaves, haven't they? It looks really nice for that beaver theme.
I love having like a really architectural plant like that, especially on something quite minimal.
Big dance area for you.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
This is absolutely
And
lovely.
the decking over here.
Yep, so Carmen,
Oh,
this is the chill out zone down round here.
I'll be happy with that.
and look at the plants.
So yeah, we've gone for the big contrast between the lime green of the bananas.
Brilliant. I love it.
And we thought the black
That's
turf lily.
fantastic.
They come up with little white, purple flowers.
It looks like they love that little area around the corner of the decking.
I think it just makes it a little bit cosy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really cool little seating area.
And then we've got your water feature and what's in the top? Give it a little pinch.
Okay, go on.
Mint from my way.
Mentos!
Oh, loving the mint. Look at that.
Nice
Nibble.
little smell.
Yeah, nice. Well, that's quite cool, isn't it? A bit of sensory.
Yeah.
Overload of sensory. You've got smell and you've got sight and you've got sound.
So then we wander to your boardwalk and you'll see your dry riverbed with your grove of olives.
Yeah, it's just great, isn't it?
And look at the olive bushes. Wow, they look so much healthier already.
Already, yeah. So this is going to be a very jungly walkway through.
Wow.
And wander down to the very chillax zone down the bottom here.
Walking down to the bespoke
Look
fence.
at that. Admiring our handiwork, mate. You should be pleased.
That's so different and amazing.
The plants as well in
Yeah,
between. It's
just so different rather than just having hedges or fencing. It's
Sounds
just
to me
so
great.
creative.
But if you pop yourself down there and then look back through, you can
Oh, wow.
see the party happening, but you
Beautiful.
don't have to join in if you don't want to.
Brilliant.
Oh, that is superb.
fantastic, isn't it?
Absolutely brilliant.
Well, they seem to love it, which is a fantastic result.
Really nice. And I think, you know, beautiful house, dragging that out, beautiful garden. Great work.
So, now that everyone has packed up and gone, do Fleur and Richard still think that Charlie has delivered what they dreamed of?
You had a vision of Ibiza, sort of the wow, the whiteness and the big plants, and I think they've nailed it.
The party aspect of the garden is brilliant. It's big, it's got enough space for us all to sit out there. We can't wait to have lots of people around. And
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant.
Things
It's going to be
like that,
absolutely brilliant
so-
for parties.
£4,000 is a lot of money to spend on your outdoor entertainment space. So, was it money well spent?
The budget went further than I thought it would go, you know, with the paving and the planting, well, it's just wow.
everything was better than we thought, so it was brilliant.